Hello, everyone, and welcome to your first Snap Take of the day. Yes, there will be two on this lovely, lovely Sunday in December. Hopefully, you're having a great day. I'm Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone, and we have four great Marvel Snap decks for you, including the number one deck in the game right now. It is a brand new deck, like literally, I promise you, unless you have played this person, you have never seen this deck. It is a new number one deck and a new number one player, a new name. So this is really exciting. Let's get started with our first deck, though, from A Party. A Party has this deck that she went 45 and 18 with for a 74% win rate, and it broke my brain a little bit because this is a standard move shell, but you might notice multiple man is here instead of Human Torch. This shell, however, looks absolutely insane to me once um, we can add we can go back and add Human Torch, and we can add the new card coming next week, Penny Parker, who will give this spider to add to the Human Torch to do extra shenanigans. Because if you can get a galactic Human Torch, move that onto a Hercules, all of a sudden the power you're going to be putting up is insane and enough to just win the game with a tribunal after like another single move. That seems incredibly strong. That combo seems really strong, and while the rest of the deck is obviously capable of winning at a high rate, I'm very impressed with this concept. You can find A Party at twitch.tv/A Party. She just celebrated her 2-year Twitch anniversary, so congratulations. This deck does need all the high series stuff. Aranya's +2 power is pivotal. Ghost Spider's extra flexibility over Doctor Strange and 1 cost is pivotal. Usually you could replace Hercules. You can try Doctor Strange for Hercules. I wouldn't suggest it. Hercules is like a must when you're running Tribunal in particular. Hercules' weakness is he pushes things into random spots, right? Well, he's not doing that at all if you're running Tribunal. It doesn't matter where he's pushing things, the power gets spread out evenly anyway. And then Galacta is a must because Galacta is like what makes the multiple man version of this deck work, the multiple man type stuff of this deck work. This deck went 61 and 20, 74%. Turn 1, Aranya. Turn 2, Web to set up a Vulture move or Aranya multiple man. You generally would like to hold multiple man, but you're fine getting him going. Move Vulture on turn 3, as in like if you set up that Vulture move, you can either have Iron Fist of the Vulture, or you can drop Vulture into Madam Web, or you can use Aranya on Vulture. Or you can start to set up Dagger. You don't usually want to move Dagger on turn 3, but you can drop Dagger into an Aranya relatively safely. Your other choice is just drop Herc, and any deck that runs Hercules is perfectly fine passing until 3. He acts as a big power amplifier for these decks, so it doesn't actually matter nearly as much. Turn 4 is the same basic concept as turn 3, or drop Galacta. Turn 5, move around stuff with Herc while pumping with Galacta. So a decent thing to do here would be to drop whatever mover after Galacta, and then you want to drop either Cloak or Ghost Spider, or both if you can, and then you get like the double move, and then you want to put Cloak right on that Hercules so that you can move it on and off that Hercules again. Then turn 6, you count up your power, you look at the board, and you choose between Tribunal and Heimdall. It's really, really simple as far as move decks go. As long as you're patient, as long as you don't rush and try and put up too much power too soon, you end up with a massive amount of power with this list. It's really, really cool. Again, props to A Party for coming up with it. After this next bit, we're going to talk about the current number one deck, which is, again, super original, but so is this list. Throwing Galacta into a move shell with Hercules to allow you to wait till so late to get started is genuinely brilliant. So props for that great idea and great win rate. Before we go further, I'm going to ask you to hit that sub button if you're willing. We're trying to hit 16,000 subs before the end of 2024. We are brutally close. Hopefully you can help us. We're also going to try and hit 25,000 in 2025. So if you're willing to help us get there, it'd mean a lot. We are giving away 5 season passes. All you have to do is go comment a bunch of stuff from last week. We're giving away 1 season pass a week for the rest of the month. We give you 7 days a week of videos. Last week had 8 videos. This week is going to have either 9 or 10 videos. You don't want to miss out on the best and most thorough Marvel Snap content out there. Hit that sub button, like, and comment. We'll do our best to provide you a ton of value. And all you have to do is on Monday's video, today is Sunday, on Monday's video, you're going to like, comment, and as long as you're subbed, you're going to be entered to win a Galacta. So if you want a free Galacta, that's how we give back to the community. We will have one more given away tomorrow, and then we're giving away 5 Galactas on the second video today. That's all the stuff from last week's video. So if you're interested in that, hopefully you check it out. All right, next up we have the new rank 1 deck, and it is, as the thumbnail told you, a Hela list from Danish. Excuse me, I can't speak. This list is absolutely incredible. I play Danish all the time. I've beat this list. I've lost this list. It's like his pet list, and it's finally just cracked the meta. Gore gives it what it needs to go really, really over the top of almost everything. Gambit is a nightmare of a card. Gambit with Odin is a nightmare of a card. Being able to Odin Ghost Rider or Odin Jubilee or Odin Blink or Odin Gambit, etc., etc. It just gives you so much variety, so many different ways to do extremely powerful things in this list. It again, like I don't know how. I swear it's Gambit magic, but Gambit killed me like a million times on like 1 in 3, 1 in 4 chances in matchups with this. Corvus hits your Hela and your opponent snaps on you, and you're totally fine because as long as you've still got Ghost Rider, right? You just Ghost Rider Odin that right back. Or you drop a giant silly gore to win and you bring back some other stuff. Or you Magneto to clog a lane. Like there's just a million different ways to power through with this list. It seems like it wouldn't work. It's a Hell list with no Luke Cage. It's a Hell list with 100% random discard, but it is extremely powerful. It's going to take some practice, but it is extremely powerful. I don't know Denish's socials, but Denish created the list and gave permission to post the deck, so thank you so much. This deck needs Corvus Glaive and Blink. Legion can be Arrow. Gore can be Gigantor or Red Hulk. You just want the biggest 6 possible, although Gore is very good in this list. Turn 1, you pass unless it's Blade with the right target. Same thing for turn 2. Sometimes even with the right target, you'll hold it if you have Corvus because you would like to have as full a hand as possible for Corvus, and you can always Blade later. Turn 3, Gambit or Corvus. If they have a priority target, you just drop Gambit and deal with the consequences later. If not, you drop Corvus because extra energy is obviously very good here. If you have that extra energy and Infinite and you don't think they have Shang, you can sometimes skip 4 and just Infinite and then go out and Hela on turn 6 and be totally fine. Or do some other shenanigans on turn 6 and be totally fine. But generally speaking, what you would like to do is if you hit something good with your Gambit/Corvus, you want to drop Ghost Rider. If not, you're going to try and drop Jubilee. If Corvus Blink, then turn 3 plays are fine. Also, please note, it is totally fine to get Hela early. You have Odin. Just drop Odin on it later. You'll be fine. Uh, 5 is, turn 5 is a 6 if Corvus. Otherwise, you do the same things as turn 4. And then turn 6 is Hela. Odin, the Ghost Rider, Jubilee, Blink, Odin, the Hela, Odin, whatever. Or you can Blink to make sure you get Hela. That's it. This works amazingly. This list is, again, the #1 list of Marvel Snap. It seems completely wild, and it does take getting used to, but once you get used to it, it puts up as much power as anything. It's amazingly difficult to play against, like genuinely one of the hardest decks around to play against right now. Props to Dennis for coming up with this with the well-earned #1. Last chance review of Luna Snow. Luna Snow is a 3/5. On reveal, add an ice cube to each side of this location. At the start of each turn, get +1 energy. Then destroy this if your side is full here. She's a really interesting card. The timing of the destroy is interesting when it happens, when it doesn't. The way your opponent plays with and around it, the way you have to play with and around it. Using it to clog is really interesting. Using it to ramp out cards like Sarah or Professor X is really interesting. All of this is really cool, and all of this has not worked at all. The card has the lowest win rate of any card in recent memory at our time of doing this, and it's got a significantly negative cube rate. I do not think Luna Snow is a good card right now. I would not be shocked if we came up with some good builds for her later, but as of right now, I think my prediction is she's going to be the worst card of the month, and I think you should skip her. I hope that she does come up with Bruise, even though I'm making this recommendation eventually. I hope that there are really good decks with her down the line. I just know that that time is not right now. And with Spider coming and 2099 coming and Rocket and Groot coming, I cannot recommend that unless you are flush with resources, you get Luna Snow. This is my favorite Luna Snow deck right now. It is Splat's deck. This is the deck. This deck was all over the place a couple seasons ago as a just giant combo deck that put up ungodly amounts of power, and went before people knew what it was doing, it put up crazy amounts of cubes. You have to be careful with this list, but when this list goes off, it can beat absolutely anything. All right, so you can find Splat at twitch.tv/Splaticus. He streams fairly often. He's absolutely wildly entertaining. He also created the Pulse Glazer theme song, which I need to figure out how to get on my streams, but he's absolutely great. This deck needs both Hitmonkey and Blink. Luna is not important. Sage, Killmonger, and Rogue are fine. Luna is just an extra way to get your combo off. Gladiator could be the biggest three you have. Sage would do. Gambit works as well. All right. So if you're not seeing things that get rid of magic, this is an incredibly strong list. Turn 1, you want to pass. Turn 2, you want to pass. Turn 3, you play Wave into Onslaught. Or you can play Luna into Sarah. Or you can play Magic. Cool? Your goal is to get Sarah and Onslaught one lane. There's a lot of Red Guardian in the meta right now, so try and have a third card there too, which can be difficult and leaves you vulnerable to Clog, but you don't really have a great choice. Or your Sarah gets Red Guardian, which happened to me several times as I tested this deck out. Magic is obviously leaves you open to things like Reality Stone. If you're playing Thanos, you would really prefer one of the other lines to Magic. Magic is the easiest way to get the combo off because it gives you an extra turn, but it is the most dangerous in terms of losing a lot of cubes. So, turn 4, you want Sarah, Onslaught, or Blink. Cool. If you can at all, possibly. If like you have Sarah in hand, you want to Blink first because the only other expensive thing in deck is going to be Onslaught. So that's going to go get you Onslaught, and then you can just casually on turn 5 drop the Sarah on the Onslaught. If you don't have a 3 to Blink for Sarah, I'm sorry, if you can't play Sarah, Onslaught, or Blink on turn 4 because you didn't Wave or play Luna, let's say you played Magic, now you want to play a 3 that you can Blink out for Sarah or Onslaught or Magic. Cool? So a 3 will always get, if you Blink a 3, it will always get Sarah or Onslaught. Because obviously I can't get Blink. Blink's already in your hand. Turn 6 is go off, unless there's a turn 7, and what go off ultimately means is play Strong Guy and Onslaught, that's now a 15 power card. Gladiator, where you think they'll fit. Swordmaster to make sure Strong Guy is on, and then you can use Blink and Shadow King to get Monkey or Surfer if you just happen to not draw one of them. That's it, you've probably won. You just put out an ungodly amount of power. You end up playing on a decent last turn of the game is Surfer for 1, Hit Monkey for 1, Shaw for 1, Strong Guy for 1, um, Swordmaster for 1, Gladiator for 1, and then you still have an extra energy for Luna or Wave or Magic or whatever else is sitting in your hand. You win those games, right? You just got a 16 power Strong Guy. You've got a stupidly powered Hit Monkey. We just played 6 cards, so we've got like a 15, 16 power Hit Monkey, and then we're pumping that all by 2 from Surfer. Insane list. Play it, love it. You don't need Luna for it, but this is the place. This is the combo deck that I think she's worked the best in thus far. If you'd like to see gameplay for these decks, please check out the stream team. In a few hours, Obihaved will be streaming. Go check him out streaming these very decks. FaThorNewman, Tuccrr, and Gregor2424 all have videos coming soon with some decks from our stuff. Obi will have his after his stream. Finally, we have a Binks deck. Binks has this hand buff deck. I personally like the Ika deck better. We'll talk more about that Ika deck again tomorrow, but this list has been great. I made one change. I played it with Mysterio, and I found I never ever wanted a Mysterio. I replaced it with Grandmaster, and the whole list felt way better because I can Grandmaster Zabu, America, Fastos, or Gwenpool and get a ton of extra value. You could also replace it with Psylocke as a way to ramp into Galacta or Gwenpool. Any of those are fine, but just so you know, I have not liked Mysterio in this list, but the win rate with this is through the roof, even as is. You can find Binks at twitch.tv/BinksPlays. Wonderful, kind person, former member of the podcast. Sorry, guest of the podcast. This deck needs Galacta, Gwenpool, Zabu, and Shaw. And once more, I urge you to buy season passes, as literally all 4 of the new cards are former season pass cards. Fastos can be Nakia, or the other cards I told you that Grandmaster were. And Scarlet Spider can be Captain Marvick. Captain Marvel is a perfectly fine replacement for Scarlet Spider, although with Brood, you don't always have all the extra space in the world for Captain Marvel to be quite as good. All right, so this has, according to Marvel Snap Zone stats, a 68% win rate in 92 games. Turn 1, you want Zabu over America Chavez. Turn 2, Zabu over Okoye over America Chavez. Turn 3, Galacta or Gwenpool over Fastos. Turn 4, Galacta or Gwenpool, and if you don't see either of them by turn 4, you've probably lost. You can run. Turn 5, Galacta, Gwenpool, Scarlet, or Brood. So generally speaking, if you got Galacta or Gwenpool out, you want to play Scarlet Spider here. That's perfectly fine. You can also play Brood and then chill and be totally fine. Turn 6 is huge buff cards. Shaw and Brood make some sense as your final plays. So does triggering Scarlet Spider. There's a million different ways to do it. This list is awesome and it just puts out a crazy amount of power. Your basic goal is to get all your buffers going, and you have to have good draw order, right? Get all your buffers going, and then you go Galacta. If you can Galacta Gwenpool again on 3 into 4, that's better. But if you do 1 on 4, then you do Scarlet Spider. That's going to be at least an 8 power, and then you want to drop either Shaw or Brood, and then you just kind of win. And you can also just do Brood on turn 5 into Absorbing Man and like a Sinister Absorbing Man and like a supposedly Mysterio, but you don't have enough space for that ever to end the game. There's just a crazy amount of power to this list. I think it's absolutely awesome. Questions of the day. One, Ezla asked what I think of the Doom 2099 cache. So in our original data mines, there was Hitmonkey in that, and I said it was one of the best caches around. I was very, very excited for that Doom Hitmonkey cache. But as time has continued to go on, as time has passed, we found out that that's going to be Dakin, and that obviously makes this significantly worse. It goes from like an A plus week to kind of like an A minus B plus. And if Doom 2099 doesn't work out, the other two cards certainly will not. They're just not good. So the clear number one week of the season is right now going to be this coming week with Penny Parker. We will review that week on Tuesday's video if you're interested in. We also have, if you check the pinned video on our channel, a full review of the month. It's going to talk about the Hitmonkey week. Like there's Hitmonkey there. It's not. It's Dakin, and Dakin is basically unplayable. So don't feel like you have to get that. Cool. Moonlit Path asked if I've seen The Sopranos. No, no. I don't especially like the Mafia. All right, and HXGS. Sorry, that was so mean. No, I've never seen The Sopranos, and yeah, I've said this before, and Moonlit actually notes this in the question. If I don't have strong central characters to root for, I can't watch a show, and so I've never really bothered with Sopranos. HXGX asks about my Spanish and the language we speak at home. For those of you who don't know, I'm half Dominican and half Jewish. My mother is Dominican, my father is Jewish. Um, when I was young, when I was born, my mother didn't know any English. And my father had learned Spanish. So he would speak to her in Spanish, but she insisted on only speaking English when I was young so that she could learn English. So she only spoke English to me, like insisted on speaking. She did literally the same thing to my son, by the way. Only spoke English to me until I was like 5 or 6 or 7, and then got very upset that I didn't know any Spanish. And for whatever reason, I tried to learn multiple times. My brain was never able to latch on. I can understand most Spanish. I can understand most Dominican Spanish, most Colombian Spanish, most Puerto Rican Spanish. Other countries are more hit or miss. My wife is Colombian, and I grew up in the Bronx, so Puerto Ricans were just everywhere. But I was never able to learn Spanish. I tried several times. I got, I don't know, almost there a couple times, and then I just lost it. I don't know what the mental block is. Unfortunately, the same thing happened to my son. He understands Spanish pretty well, but as far as speaking it goes, it's just not there. I don't know. I don't know if I passed on the mental block or my mother doing literally the same thing with him that she did with me, except that she knows English at this point. She just like she constantly talked bad about learning Spanish when he was little and it was very difficult. I don't understand why. She's a strange woman. But yeah, so we speak, my wife speaks Spanish all the time. She's Colombian and she just constantly speaks Spanish. We understand her and we largely answer in English. Certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'm going to say thank you to Abigail Giesland, Mandatory Burnout, Irregardless, David G. Wingfield, Dirty Casual, Danton, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., I Am Frostman, Je Nevelit, Thinking Poker, Primed Ryan, Ryan Burke, Ryan Wood, Heretics Lee, Koirei, Archangel 3K, The Black Dahlia, Pyrophros, The Goat Seeker, Hallowed, Quid Pro Joe, Snap Assistance Joe, Fat Nick, Mr. Kerfuffle, I wonder if he's still in chat, Cables, Ginger Prime, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, Black Jeebus 23, Express V and Skippy G, Jessica Gamble, Tommy Nyquist, winner of Snapchat League Season 1, The King of Bros, Brett, The Great Kazoo, Kepsi Huda, Luna, Chris, Corwin, John Q, and Jimmy McHugh, Clarm, Colonel Forbin, who's definitely in chat, Yistout, 8th Sage, Mod Supreme Models, The Green Goblin, Unibot, Flan56, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B, J. D. McDonaldinho, welcome back, my friend, The Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrumix, Hoot, Matt H, DJ Mikey Hijinks, No Flex, Ocularis, Mr. Craig Sterry, BG, Zodrex, The King of Canada, Deadman Falcon, Jonesy, The Great Two Ties, my friend Lauren Whatevs, the Pirate King Tuccrr, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for don't forget there's a second video coming out at Daily Reset. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. See you later today for another Snap Take. Peace.